Yo, what's going on, everybody? Little Scapula. Let's go. All right, switching things up, man. Um, I really dug into a lot of things coming into today. Um, I was getting sick of my results getting choppy, and you know, I really tried to dig deep and understand why. And I think I figured that out. And I have a crystal clear game plan of how I'm going to attack that. Um, I'm going to stop worrying about winning. I'm going to stop worrying about making money. And I'm going to aggressively attack the things that I need to improve. And profits will follow. And I understand that. And I'm trying to be smart enough to realize that. Um, that I can make money fixing my mistakes. How great is that? So I've identified some trading demons, right? And I'm going to start attacking those one by one. The first one that I want to address is poor trading accuracy. Um, so that's pretty much what these videos are going to be about now. Yes, there's still going to be reviews. I'm still going to be reviewing my trades, but they're going to be for a specific reason. So this video will be my first four out of, so I'm going to take 20 trades that is going to kill my poor accuracy. So my first demon is poor trading accuracy. Oh, sorry, I moved my mic. Um, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 20 trades that are only my better setups. Not going to go straight for A plus. You know, just good setups that make sense. I'm not gonna play the choppy stuff. Um, you know, I'm not gonna trade bullshit. If it's giving me a good look, it's a fresher look, um, and it has some momentum. I'm gonna do my best to focus on just taking those higher probability plays. So my next couple videos will be as I go through those 20 trades. I did my first four today. Um, so this video will be trades 1 through 4 of dealing with my first trading demon. And once I get done with these 20 trades, the point obviously is to review them. And another good thing is, something that I was told, and that makes a lot of sense to me, is that my future winners are in the losers that I have today. So my losing trades that I experience on a daily basis, if I can crack those open and understand why they were losers, that's setting me up for better success in the future. So the work that I'm doing now, I want to set myself up for success in the future. I want to do the hard shit now, really bite down on the mouthpiece and tear these trades apart and do all the hard stuff now so that, eventually when I level up and I start to master my strategy, oh man, I'm going to fucking fly, dude. I'm going to fly. But we can't shortcut the mistakes and the weaknesses. I already know where I'm strong. I know the things that I do well, but that's not going to make me a better trader. I'm going to become a better trader by really focusing on my trading demons. So let's get into it. First trade was TGL. Um, I even got a folder. I'm going to clearly Demon 1 folder. Poor accuracy. My first four trades of the day. Um, well, my first four out of 20 of this one. So first one was TGL. And again, these are setups that I thought were high quality. And I was surprised to get so many today because yesterday was super slow. So I was ready to like exercise discipline and be super patient. But I was given opportunities and I took them all, man. And the reason I took this one is because we had this very clear after hours pivot from yesterday. Um, Going into 4 a.m., tested that pivot, broke above, came back down, and I was very interested to see a nice higher volume move above these pivots. And what I was expecting was that first 5 minute pullback and to continue higher. And I just took the trade, man. This one was a loser for me. It didn't really give me even a sliver of profit potential. But like I said, not worried about the profits, just the execution. I did grab this first 5 minute or this first dip to the 1 minute 20 right here, per usual. It did try to make a little push, but again, what's the ultimate goal is the top of this flagpole at 412s. Um, I think I was sitting at like 370s right here. It did make a push. It came back. I didn't like this dip right here. In hindsight, I probably, once it had like this 5 minute flag look right here, I kind of wanted to see it go. Um, and if I'm looking at it and trying to dissect like why this was a loser, I think it's because, we continue to pull back more. I mean, it did tap the 5 minute A right here. We got a little dip. Um, and once I did see it bounce off VWAP in the 5 minute A right here and start to push again, ultimately I knew that, this was my line in the sand at about 353s, let's just say 350. So I was pretty much risking, I didn't have the best average on this either. So, that's definitely counts as to why I was a loser. Um, but I was kind of risking 25 cents, and I did have the potential to make almost 50. Especially if this broke out and got really cranking. 425s. Wouldn't have been a problem. But ultimately, see, this thing just sold off. I did hesitate a little bit to cut. Um, I probably got a fat slippage there. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my. Let's check time check here. 6 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my metrics. That way we can see a little bit more. Um, let's see from today. So yeah, I ended up losing $100 on that one. Definitely bigger loss than I wanted to. That's another trading demon. So, there's some other things that I should ultimately work on while I'm dealing with poor accuracy. But overall accuracy of the day was 50. Not the best, not the worst. I've actually been averaging less than 50. So to see 50 um, isn't bad. So yeah, TGL loser. Um, hesitated to held on a little bit too long. Got a little bit of slippage here. Could have definitely cut that quicker. Next up, we have SBEV. This was a winner for me. See, $85 on this trade, and that was only from half. So, you know, technically, I probably should have made way over $100 on this one, um, because I had to stop out break even on half of my position, because I wasn't able to get all of the whole size off at new highs. So we had let's go SBEV. I'm gonna kind of have to speed these up here to make sure I make the time. But again, I mean, it had a similar setup. We had after hours pivot right here. Got some nice volume, came in at 7 8. So once TGL failed hard and this one popped immediately, I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to be the one that works. And ultimately it did. Put in some nice volume, came in at 7. It put in a nice lower volume pullback right here. I grabbed, I had nice entries on this. I had low 11s, like 410s. Bounced right off VWAP here, that first 5 minute A tap as well. I had good entries on this one. And yeah, it ended up, I was expecting this, especially since TGL didn't work and this one was like a lower float. It was super thin. I thought this thing was going to rip, man. I was expecting like 5. So once it came up at this tap right here, I did take some off the table. Kind of pulled back more and it just, and then ended up just rolling over. So I had to I had to stop out break even on the other half. I really wanted to look for, a breakthrough 481s, even looking at 5. So in hindsight, maybe I could have just took off my whole position right here. Maybe just standardize the way that I take profits, instead of looking for, the break of this, maybe, as I'm coming up, I can start scaling out, anticipating this to be as resistance. But, those are little tweaks I can add in as I go through the next trades. Let's see. Next one was BCTX. This one surprised me a little bit that it was a loser. This one surprised me. Because again, SBEV that was selling off. This one had news, I believe. Yep. This one had a catalyst, so it did make a move. About 7:30. Kind of just went sideways in day, but I was interested after A once we got this ramping volume. Pretty high volume right here. It set up a nice 5 minute flag. And I was anticipating this to make new pre-market highs. I had decent ads here. Nothing. I didn't have great entries. I think I had about 525s. I kind of added like right here, and probably could have added more on this dip right here, but ultimately I was using this, once I was holding my entry and it bounced right here at 510s. That's what I was using as my risk off. And it set up a nice, 5-minute pattern. It tried here, I was in some profit a few times, but ultimately I was looking for at least the top of the flagpole. I didn't even get that, so, you know, I just didn't end up taking any profits because I wanted these first 5-minute candle to make a new high actually continue, and you know I would have probably took some off at the top of the flagpole and then my other half at pre-market highs, but um, I ended up, I even hesitated a little bit to cut right here. Something else I'm going to work on, and I caught a pretty decent slippage going down. So see, not as big of a loss on that one. 64 bucks, nothing crazy. Um, but then MIRA popped very shortly after that. Um, and guys, it gave me a look, and I stepped up to the plate again. This one had news. Again, if one fails, I'm expecting one of them is going to work just out of um, probabilities. So yeah, this one did have some kind of catalyst, lower float. I slapped some pretty decent size on this one. I was kind of looking for this pivot to hold, 109s, 110s. I did grab a dip right here, a dip below, but I was kind of looking at this pivot right here in that first 5-minute A tap. I wanted to see it um, reverse off that, and it did. So ultimately, I was risking the low of this. I think I had about 112, so I was risking 6 cents pretty much for new highs right here. Um, and yeah, we got a beautiful move into new pre-market highs. Um, I took half off initially at the break of this, and then I let a little bit run a little more. That's fine. Let the winners run. I think I got some more off at 130s here, but um, that was my biggest trade of the day. So that one was a winner, um, and I'm happy that my winner was bigger than my loser. So yeah, those are my first 4 trades. Um, this was a nice trade right here too, but I was tapped out. I took my 4 and I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm gonna take those 4. Um, and that's that. So again, tomorrow I'll be going into trade 5 and whatever else I get. But the goal of this is to be pickier and look for better quality setups and not get chopped around so much. If I can't put it on this list, it doesn't make sense and it's not something that I normally trade. I'm not going to take it. Um, yeah, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Whatever trades that I get for the day, I'll go ahead and review them, try to extract the lesson. And yeah, again, the goal for this one is to improve my trading accuracy. And I'm going to do that by having the discipline to choose better quality stocks and taking the trades without hesitation, exposing myself. And that's the key too. The more I take these trades, the better experience I'm going to have. Um, and especially guys, I'm not taking these with small size anymore. I'm putting my money on the table. I'm taking the risk on these, and as long as you use risk management, you can put your money on the table. I'm not taking baby size on this. I'm like, if I'm gonna learn how to do this, I'm gonna learn how to do it the right way. As long as I trust in myself that I'm gonna be disciplined and cut my losses, no problem with taking some more size on these. Um, I have the account size for it now, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And the results are gonna be what they are. They either win or they lose, but they're gonna go in this trade book, and I'm gonna keep going until I hit 20, and then we're gonna move on to the next trade demon. That's all I got for right now. Peace.